Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So, it's been a while. Anyway, I've literally been sitting in front of this camera for so long and I was like, I have all these things to talk about, but I don't know where to start. Anyway, if you don't hate this video, please like it. And also subscribe to my channel and comment and share, because it's so nice. It's so nice. Let's create a whole community here. Anyway, today I'm gonna talk about how I'm doing, and I'm gonna talk about my vision for this channel. I'm not doing super well. I'm kind of just really overwhelmed by a lot of things. I miss community. So I was aware that this was gonna happen, but like now it's really hitting me. So I was part of this missionary organization for 2 years, and then now I'm obviously studying in Johannesburg. And I love community. Like, I went to boarding school, so I was in the hostels. I was like always surrounded by people. I'm an extrovert. I love being around people, like even when I'm studying, even when I'm doing my own thing. I just want people to be around me, it just makes me happy. So now I don't really have that because I'm really busy, not just with university, and I think it's also different when you're not coming straight out of high school and you're like in university. Like, you have more experiences, you have different worldviews, and so there's not that many people that I can relate with. And then obviously the people I do relate with are usually older and working and they don't have time. And so I just don't really have community anymore, and it's really been a challenge, I don't want to complain the whole time. No, life's really not that bad. God is good. I've been given such amazing opportunities that I'm so thankful for. By the way, if you have Facebook, please go on there and then type in Beginnet, because I recorded this series for them on God and sexuality. And it would be so cool if you can watch it and share it with your friends and your family and your brothers and sisters and mothers and everything, What I want to say about this channel is that I really want it to be a place where we can talk about relevant topics, which might usually be kind of controversial, because that's just the way to go. And I would just really appreciate it if we can get to this phase where we know that you can disagree without hating someone. So I think that's super important. I think it's also a really big issue. So here's what's gonna happen soon-ish on this channel. Is I am going to address racism more, because apparently, I knew it still was a big thing, but it's a big issue and it irritates me and I find it very personal. So I just say racism because it's dumb. Then I'm also gonna make a video about the biblical worldview on homosexuality and sexuality in general. So in this previous video, I said that I believe that homosexuality is a sin because the Bible says so, but I didn't really I mentioned verses, but I didn't explain the verses. Or what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna highlight all the verses that says something about homosexuality or about God's design for sexuality, and then what I'll do is I will tell you what people say who says that it's not a sin, and then the kind of when people say it's not a sin, it's just very vague, and they try to twist these Greek words, and basically I'll just mention both, because at the end of the day, even if you don't agree with me, I at least just want to put it out there. And I just want people to think. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but if you do, you'll see that on Tuesdays I have something called okay, I'm sorry about this whole touching my hair thing. It's something that I'm working on, Anyway, on Tuesdays I have this thing called Controversial Tuesdays, where I mention controversial topics, and then I just share people's thoughts on it. Because at the end of the day, again, you don't have to agree with me, you don't have to agree with other people, but I think it's important that we have these conversations, that we think about things instead of just accepting it for what our parents told us, or what society tells us, because society is really not that trustworthy. Anyway, okay, I also really want to talk about politics and white privilege. I recently I was in a situation, and I just realized that again, I'm sorry white people if you're offended, but I can only speak to you because I'm white. Like, you can't be like, oh, you black person, you live in this false world. I don't really know, because I'm not black. But what I can say for white people in South Africa is that most of you and me live in a bubble where you think South Africa is white, and it's not. And it's just sad. It's just sad that you think South Africa is the way you live. Like, everybody doesn't live in estates. Everybody doesn't feel safe. Power breaks isn't that bad because you can't listen to Apple Music. Like, it's bad because people who try their best to study only have one night, and then the power is off, and then what are they supposed to do? Like, there are real issues, and I think as Christians we should stop not making it our problem, because it is our problem. And we shouldn't live in the space where we don't go out and be friends with people from different backgrounds. And I'm not just talking about race, also just like about classes. Like, do you have friends in townships? Do you ever talk about their issues? Do you ever think about what you can do out of your point of privilege to help them? Because here's the thing. I don't think you should feel bad about your privilege. Like, you didn't really do anything to get it, it just is. But here's what you can do. You can admit you have privilege, and then secondly, you can use your privilege to uplift those who don't have it. Because you know what? We live in this world where there will always be people who have privilege and people who don't. Now, like, the thing with privilege is, I do think I have privilege and white privilege, but I don't think everything was given. I think certain opportunities was definitely given to my family and things like that. But they still had to work for it. So I think, that's why I'm not saying like you should feel bad, but you should do something about it. Like, don't just sit there pretending that you don't have privilege, or take your privilege to whatever, make yourself better. Like, help other people. Jesus mentions so many times in the Bible that we need to help the poor. Like, seriously. Like, it's not the state's job. I actually wish the state would stop doing it. But it is our job. Like, the church, like, we're the church. Like, it's not the building. It's not even the group. It's just you. You're the church. We should be, you, me, we should be doing something about it. Anyway, so basically I'm gonna talk about those things as well. And also I'm gonna have a conversation about politics with a few of my Black South African friends, and we're gonna be super unfiltered and not politically correct, because I just think it's necessary. You know what? I think we shouldn't be so offended and we should just have conversations. Like, seriously. Oh my gosh. Okay, one more thing that's kind of unrelated, but I mean, this whole video is kind of just very unrelated. I don't know. I'm sorry if you dislike this, but these are just a few things I want to say. Guys, sin is not a joke. Like, seriously. I don't think, like, Jesus will always love you no matter how much you sin. And I never think that I'm better than you because I sin differently, like we all sin. But I think if we think that it's okay to sin, if we think that we should just continue in this sinful lifestyle, whatever it is, whether you're lying, whether you're prideful, whether you're racist, whatever, like, it's not okay. It's never okay, because sin leads to death. And Jesus didn't die for you to continue living in sin. Because if you continue living in sin, see, there's something else when you're like, okay, I want to get out of this lifestyle, but I'm struggling. That's one thing. You're journeying through it. But if you're like, I know this is a sin, but I think it's okay. Like the world thinks that it's okay to have sex, so I'm just going to have sex. Or like, people don't really... Like, if I have lustful thoughts and I just, like, entertain it in my mind, like, no one knows, so it's not that bad. Or if you just lie and no one knows and you're just like, whatever. Or you think you're better than anyone else, or you hate people, whatever. Like, no. Guys, sin is not a joke. It's not. Because every time we sin, it's not like our spirit dies, but we deprive it from who God is and who God made us to be. It's never like God doesn't want to talk to you because you sin. No, God is way bigger than that. But you are harming yourself and you're belittling what God did on the cross. It's like you just don't get it. You don't understand how lost you were. You don't understand how sin leads to death. How it's not this meek thing that you're playing with and, oh, God says that, but he's just an asshole, you know, he doesn't want me to have whatever I want. No, you don't understand how sin leads to death and how much life there is in living in God's will and word. Like, guys, no. Jesus didn't die for you so that you would die, so that you would live in death. No, he died for you so that you could be alive and not sin. Yeah, so I'm not trying to tell you you suck. I'm just saying, don't take sin lightly. Like, no, just don't. It's not just whatever. It's like, it's death and you want life. And Jesus died for you to have life, you know? And by this, I'm not saying that when you sin, your worth is taken away, because you're not what you do. You have inherent worth. Nothing you do can take that away, but sin will always lead to death. So I just want to encourage you that, you know, let's try. Let's try to not sin. Let's try to be more God-like out of our love for God and knowing that He has so much more for us, you know? Like, so much more. I just want to say thank you to each and every person who watches my videos, who follows my social media, reads my articles. I appreciate you guys. And never underestimate your value or your ability to change the world, because you can, as long as you believe it. Anyway, have a great day, and remember that you are so loved. Comment down below if you have any video ideas, whatever you thought about this rant or multiple topic conversation. Yeah. See you next time. Bye.